This is a 62 car train with two Rio Grande Aristocraft brand GP40s and an Aristocraft GP40 Rock Island unit pulling the 62 car train. And this is the AML, American Mainline brand Pullman Standard 4750 cubic foot 3-bay hopper. It's a new product. And this is showing going around my 270 degree 10-foot diameter loopback. You can see the coupler action here with the stress of that train on it from the trailing loco here. And there it is, coupled to a USA brand 4-bay cylindrical hopper, and American Car and Foundry model. Two of them there, and the rest of the cars are more period 40s and 50s cars on this train. All of them are equipped with Kadee center set type couplers, either the older or traditional 830, 930 types, 930 being the painted brown ones, and the newer types, the 906s. The 62 car train here has all Kadee center set type couplers, excepting for the last car, which is sort of an adapter having an Aristocraft truck mount coupler and the caboose. The caboose has yet to be converted. Here is the 62 car train once again going around the 270 degree loop back here. It's 10-foot diameter, so it's a good stress test for coupler action and any string lining possibilities, meaning the cars may tend to pull inboard. And here you can see the coupler action of the PS 4750 car, the AML car, and here it is with the compared with the USA Trains brand cylindrical hoppers. Here I've stopped the 62 car train, and here's the Pullman Standard AML brand, happens to be a Frisco 3-bay hopper, the first one I've acquired. It's a very nice car. It weighs about 3.1 pounds compared to the USA Trains brand cylindrical hoppers here, which inevitably people will compare to. The cylindrical hoppers are made out of mostly metal. They weigh about 5 pounds to my recollection when I weighed them. And the Frisco car is essentially all plastic, except it has beautifully made, probably the best I've seen that they've done so far, the trucks and the wheels. And I'm very happy with this car, but it did need some repair. It suffered shipping damage, which I think with a few factory changes could be remedied. And not just the packaging. I think the way the car is kind of put together would help. At any rate, what happened was the underframe, and it's happened to other people to my understanding, it's been reported, the underframe here tends to come unglued, or it came unglued from this bulkhead here, and it was that way on both ends when I received it. And basically I repaired it by putting a bead of CA glue where the seam was and letting it dry, and then making this reinforcing strip here, which is about 4 inches long, and it's been notched to straddle over the spine of the frame here. And I CA glued it on here, and it's in an inconspicuous place on both ends here, same technique done. And so that repaired the car quite nicely. And the problem with many cars, not just this one, is when you body mount couplers, the tang that sticks out is typically not anchored to the end of the car. And of course it's symmetrical on both ends. One end doesn't have the brake wheel apparatus, but that doesn't matter. And in this case, the tang can kind of go up and down, flex up and down. When you run a long train like this, it's not too desirable. So I've had to do tricks with the Aristocraft 100-ton hoppers to kind of help remedy that, and I made a little, what I call a J-clip. In this case, I made just a tiny little clip here, and I call it an S-clip because it has a lip that sticks over the end sill of the car here. And basically there's a tendency for the the tang in which the a coupler pad, that it's more of a tang that sticks out, there's a tendency to have a downward bias on this AML car here. And so by putting this clip on, that kind of anchors it to keep it from dropping down, and that allowed the proper coupler height to occur with the installation of the Kadee 906 type coupler box. And so those two items, and at one end I used aluminum, 32 thousandths thick, roughly a ½ inch wide by a ½ inch tall, including the little lip on the top, and drilled and tapped a hole. And I had to use which I can't show here, but the centering, the center holes rather than the outboard holes where the ears are on the Kadee coupler box. I used the center holes to mount it, and that lent itself basically in one simple operation to drill a hole using the center hole in the coupler box as a guide, and drill a hole through the mounting pad here, and then having drilled and tapped the little metal clip for the 256 screw that's provided with the Kadee kit for the 906, and that served to fasten it. The trouble with using aluminum is it's kind of soft, and in one case here it didn't present us a problem and didn't basically bend. On the other end here, and it could happen probably on any end of the car or a different car, I had to make a plastic block to distribute the loading forces, and I threaded the block for the 256 screw, and when everything was fastened down, it pulled the thing nicely in place. If you use maybe a little galvanized metal or steel rather than thin steel 32 thousandths rather than aluminum, you probably wouldn't have to do that with the block, but then aluminum's easier to work with to bend it. So there you have it, a very nice car. A couple of problems to overcome, but it worked out quite well. And another thing I did notice was the roof hatches. When I got it, some of them were popped open, and they both open. All four of them open nicely. But when you try to put them closed, there's you have to use a trick and kind of push them this way so that they close properly rather than just forcing down. You can see there's some flexing in the roof here, and it's more desirable to kind of push them like this and then push down to get them to close up. But it's a very nice car. I'm very happy with it, and it goes well with the train here.